上海作为一个特殊的城市，
有政策的，它也是有阶段性。
像现在我们的孩子去了美国，
My friends outside here are very passionate to
because what is in the need of Israel is in the capability of China, and what is the need.
I've also heard about a little story about your name. Your name, Haim, is after your uncle. Is that right?
Yeah, well, Haim means in my language Hebrew. It means life, and it's a very difficult and interesting name because what is the life of a person? You give a baby a name Haim, but it was after my uncle, who was killed by the Germans when he was 13 with my grandparents, and so on
During
my father's
World
side,
War II?
right, on my father's side, we know death because of the Holocaust and the German tragedy and sad time. And on the Chinese side, it's the yin yang. We have death and then we have life. And
Yeah,
China gave
sure.
life to my mother, and therefore my name means a lot to me in terms of my great appreciation and love for life and not
Yes.
to death.
I've heard that you have certain links with China. What was that story?
Yeah, we all have long stories. Every person has a story in his life, the whole civilization.
Yeah.
You know, the Jewish people are ancient people of about 3,000 years, 3,500. China is about 3,000, 4,000 years of culture and heritage. But there's something of a bond between the two nations besides wisdom. Jewish people started to come to China out of persecutions and business probably in the 19th century. And Chinese people and government welcomed them.
Yes.
And they lived in Harbin and in Tianjin and
Yes.
in Chongqing and of course in Shanghai. My grandparents ran away from Russia due to persecutions. War arrived around 1915.
Yeah.
And my mother was born in Shanghai, Chapulu number 18. And so we all started with the fact that China saved my grandparents, China gave life to my mother, and therefore China indirectly gave life to me, which I'm very, very thankful. And this was the beginning of the story, which goes on for the next 100 years.
So, would you please tell us more about this story? Say, for example, how was the life? I mean, your grandparents, your mother, when they were here in China.
Well, the story is what we were told is that life were difficult. In Chinese, you say "meyo." People did not have a lot of any money. They just lived very poorly but decently. They were honest Jewish neighbors and Chinese neighbors shared food, shared friendship, and that continued even in World War II and thereafter. So it means that human relationship in Chinese we say guanxi, right? It's like being together, respect each other, is the base for happy life, comfortable life.
As we know, there are lots of Jews migrated to Shanghai during World War II. So, do you know any stories about this?
We heard many stories while I was in Israel
really?
about that, and China saved probably more than 20,000
Yes.
Jewish people that ran away and got visas. A lot of them by General Consul in Austria.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's a saint in a sense.
Yes.
Rescued his life. They came to Shanghai just like my grandparents lived in World War II, but that was difficult. It was Japanese and Chinese people suffered tremendously.
Of course.
So this was a Holocaust for China as well as the Jewish Holocaust. But somehow people prevail, and the Jewish people that lived here in Shanghai then afterwards left to the United States, to Australia, worldwide, with fantastic, good stories about their Chinese neighbors and the good heart. And that's what I encountered in 1985 when I came to China.